We're back. The best of food and wine with Anthony Gismondi and Kasey Wilson, live from the Wines of Canada stage at the 2017 Vancouver International Wine Festival. Now, here's Tony and Kasey.
Yes, please. Won't you come and put it down on me?
Welcome back to the Best of Food and Wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
We have the man with us. We were talking to Harry earlier, but now he's really the man.
He is the man.
Yeah. Really nice big award presented to you. You were the Spirited Industry Award winner.
SIP, so yeah.
Professionals.
Professional.
There
Exactly.
you go. The big cheese. You joined the list. You should have been on the list at the start.
I'm not as speechless today as I was yesterday.
Yeah. You know, when they were sort of rolling through or going through some of your history, and I was thinking, well, actually, you should have been first because everybody else who's won it has been really sort of connected or, you know, following you. But anyway, it's always good to make it finally at one point.
There you go. I was very honored.
And I was sitting with you. You were quite shocked.
I was very shocked.
You didn't know about it at all.
I didn't. Clearly did not know about it.
Yeah, great. Well, I think when we look out on the room tonight, you have to feel a lot of pride.
You bet. You bet. I mean, you just think of what's happened to the wine industry, Colombia and Canada, but even the wine culture that we have, particularly in the Lower Mainland, but province-wide. This festival has just been such a major contributor to the growth of understanding of wines for consumers, and everybody's out there having a good time.
Yeah.
And isn't this a fabulous festival this year?
It really is. I think by far the best.
Oh, I think it's one of the best festivals.
And it kind of makes up for when they wouldn't even let you in.
Well, but I've always been here. They didn't.
Yeah,
they couldn't necessarily exhibit wine, but I was always here.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, you have to. You know what? Everybody has to earn their way in the wine business. It's very competitive, and I think you knew that from the start. And we had so much to learn over those first couple of decades, but now we seem on fire.
I think so, and I think particularly for the Canadian wine industry, particularly the British Columbia wine industry, you know, we really now laid a very solid, creditable foundation in which to grow on, and I just see such exciting things happening in the future.
I was talking about that in some of the seminars this week, that actually what you were saying, we've laid it, we have people now that are transferring information to the next generation, which you couldn't have when you started, I don't know if you would have taken it, but of course you would have taken it.
I learned from my parents because they served me wine on a regular basis from the time I was about 3 years old. I had wine at least once a week. It wasn't particularly great wine, but as time went on,
it was a start.
It was the idea.
It was the idea.
One of the best clips in the award, Harry, was your good friend Richard Karras saying, Harry opened this winery on a golf course, and he's not much of a golfer, so it didn't take long. The first hole was gone, the second hole was gone, the 9 holes were gone. He kept planting grapes.
It was too bad that the rest of the golf course wasn't suitable for grapes.
I thought it was pretty funny because I thought it was odd when I went there the first time. I said, this is a golf course, and they're planting grapes, and anyway, it's a great part of history.
We had a little bit of cash flow while we were developing the vineyard. I have to tell you, aside from yesterday, one of the happiest days of my life was the day that I sold the golf course, and I made myself a promise then I would never play that stupid bleep bleep game again. And it's one promise I've kept in life, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to keep it till I die.
Well, you had some great parties up at your place.
Oh, no, I don't like to party.
No, exactly. Well, we sure did.
Okay, Harry, well, you've done a lot of things. We're going to skip all the middle stuff and come down to something very current. Now you bought yourself a theater.
I did.
What is that all about?
Well, that it wasn't an intentional thing. A realtor showed it to me when we were looking for a building, and as I went through, it's like they turned the light on, and literally the light went on. Theater 1, wow, this is for our fermentation hall. Theater 2, great spot for our barrel cellar, and so on. We're keeping Theater 4 as a theater. We'll use it as a venue for entertainment, movies, but we're going to do a lot of seminars, and I really want to encourage the my colleagues in the industry to come and participate there with us. I want to do what I call Saturday morning series where we bring in a number of winemakers and focus on a variety or style.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll bring wine and sell it from our winery
cool.
as well.
And this is in Penticton.
Right downtown Penticton.
Oh, I can't wait for that to
Let's
open.
call them workshops, not seminars.
Perfect.
And I think we're off to the races.
You bet.
And you didn't mention it, but you're in downtown Penticton in the old. Is it the Pen Mar?
Pen Mar, and my history of the theater is it was built in 1956. I think it was the next year that I went there on a Saturday afternoon with a girl that I'd met that was staying in.
Don't go too far, Harry.
Oh no. But here's the interesting thing: Saturday afternoon matinee. For 25 cents, I got admission for both of us, a big Coke and a big popcorn, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And in fact, I had this.
You can't even get a cork for 25 cents now.
Not a hope.
Yeah. Okay, you brought a couple wines. We should talk about those before we run out of time. And you brought really a signature pair of Meritage wines.
I did. That, as you know, that Meritage is near and dear to my heart. That I brought the term to Canada. Took a lot of flack from my colleagues at the time.
Yep.
But I think it's actually. I know for us, it's worked out very well. So let's talk about the white Meritage, which surprises a lot of folks because most people don't realize that Meritage does come in both red and white.
You're right.
It's a 2014 Time Meritage White.
Yeah, and that. So with Meritage, it has to be a blend. Varieties that originated in Bordeaux, no single variety can exceed 90% of the blend. So in this one specifically, it's 68% Sauvignon Blanc, 32% Semillon, and we treated the wine in 3 different batches. So a portion of it we barrel fermented, a portion of it was done in stainless steel tanks, cold, and a small part we did in 300-liter stainless steel barrels. And we could turn the barrels and leave it on the leaves, and it really helped, I think, with the mouth weight. And we brought those 3 components together. I'm really pleased with not only how this wine turned out, but how it's aged. That we're just about out of this 14, and that
very fresh, eh?
It is very fresh.
I think it's still going to continue to evolve a little farther and drink well for some time to come.
What's the price on it, and where can we get it?
You can buy it at any VQA store, and certainly a number of other restaurants and on premise. Or certainly from the winery, and it's $25 is the suggested retail price.
Great.
Maybe 3, 5, 7 years. You've been drinking them much longer, but
yeah, and I like older wine, so I'm not necessarily the gauge of that. That if you ask my kids, particularly Crystal, she'll contradict me because that's what she thinks that's her job.
Yeah.
She likes it.
She's pretty proud of you this week.
She is.
She's always been proud of you, but she's very proud of you this week.
That's reciprocal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we won't disagree on some things.
Exactly.
I can't imagine that.
Well, there you go. Anyways, she prefers them younger, fresher, fruitier.
Yeah.
And so she says she doesn't like them after about 3 years. I think they're just starting to show themselves at about 3 years.
Delicious.
And that's what wine's all about, right?
Absolutely.
Individual taste. And
Now, just to confuse the people about Time, there's the McWatters collection. So how does that fit in with the...
So far, we've only made 2 wines under the McWatters collection label, and they are Meritage and only red, and Chardonnay. And we do a Time red Meritage as well. But stylistically, they're different. Again, if Crystal Lee were here, what we would probably say, or she would probably say, is that the Time, which is Merlot based on a Merlot platform, the McWatters is always, the majority of the wine is going to be Cabernet Sauvignon. This particular vintage is 57%, which is the least amount we've had.
Okay.
It's 30% Merlot and 13% Cabernet Franc. So the difference is the Time is a little more elegant, a little softer style of wine. This would be Crystal Lee's line would be the McWatters is bigger, bolder, in your face, kind of like my dad.
Yeah. Good description.
And so the McWatters collection is really a placekeeper for the name. That even though we own the winery, we produce it under a licensing agreement so that at no time will we ever part with the name. I have too many colleagues in the business that have lost their name when they've sold their winery.
Yeah.
And they drive by it, they have no tie to it, but their name's on the winery. I don't ever want that to happen to any of my successors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Harry, you saw the first 40 years, I guess, of this business. What do you think's 50?
50 vintages this year.
50 vintages,
That's
unbelievable.
It really is.
What do you think will happen in the Okanagan in the next 25 years? What?
I was asked that 25 years ago, and I missed the target so badly.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant now to even.
Well, I don't know.
imagine.
You went down south and planted some grapes, so you didn't miss that much.
Oh no, but people said, what after the pullout program,
Yeah.
we're down to less than 1,000 acres. I said, I predict that over the next 20 years, we could see us back to at least what we had in the ground. And there could be 50 wineries here.
Oh my God!
There's over 300 wineries.
Yes.
So how do you predict?
Okay,
it?
let me ask you this then. You started the VQA movement here. It's slightly different than the one in Ontario. Do you think we'll ever have something national that makes sense? Like, could we not have one level of wine regulation and everybody on the same page? Or
Sure, but the regions are so far apart.
I know.
So that I don't actually think they should be identical, but they should mean the same kinds of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let Ontario develop a standard that makes sense for them, that has credibility, while we do the same thing here and harmonize them as much as we get. They're actually fairly harmonized now.
Yeah. So we can have the brand Canada, we can have Ontario wines, BC wines, and then start differentiating.
Nothing different than AOC, if you think about it.
Yeah.
AOC has different rules. I don't think anytime soon the AOC is going to allow Pinot Noir to be grown in Burgundy.
No.
Hopefully we never get that silly here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That's kind of positive.
Yeah.
Fun to see our friends from Nova Scotia, don't you think?
Yeah, it's fun to see them here. And that, I've had some discussion with Bruce Ewart, and that they are putting together a committee to work on the adoption of a VQA model for Nova Scotia.
Wow.
I really,
there you go.
really salute them for doing that. I think it's a wonderful thing to do.
Only one to go, Quebec.
Well, we just get it translated.
You and I will not be around for that, Harry.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, not the way we speak French. Harry McWatters, so great. Congratulations on your award.
Thanks very much.
Well deserved, and I'm sure you'll be around for a few more vintages here.
I'm planning on it.
Yeah. Great. Keep well.
Good, thank you.
Harry McWatters, he is a pioneer in the British Columbia wine industry, and of course now has his own winery in downtown Penticton, right in the old Penmar Theatre. Can't wait to go to a movie or two and have some 25-cent popcorn.
Yes, and I'm sure he'll do that for us one night.
You're listening to the Best of Food and Wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
And we're coming to you live from the floor of the 39th Vancouver International Wine Festival. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with more from the Wines of Canada.